We've been all called to this place at this time, and we all might not know why. There is a reason why you've been called. A reason why only this group of 850 high school juniors are here today, and not the thousands of other high school seniors that were not selected or chose not to come. You are on a journey, a hero's journey, called Badger Boys State. You're called here for a reason. Take a leap of faith and trust the journey that you're about to embark on. Listen deep inside for the call. Like thousands of boys before you and thousands of boys that will come after you, if you trust us and take that leap of faith, we commit to you that you will look back on this week and will come to see clearly that this will be the greatest week of your life.
You have a duty. You have a duty this week to do the absolute best that you can do. And then when you leave here, you need to leave here empowered that you can make a difference in this country. That you can make a difference. But you can only make a difference if you stand up for what is right in this country. The future of this nation is upon your shoulders. I know you will do well. You have a great group of counselors. You are great Americans. You make me proud. You make me enthusiastic that I'm here tonight with you. God bless each and every one of you, and God bless this great country of the United States of America. I salute you. Thank you.
By the way, those of you that have any trouble getting your lives started, you're not quite sure which way you're going, just envision who you want to be in the future. What do you want others to see when they look at you in a couple of years? What do you want? How do you want to be treated? How do you feel about what you want to look like and feel like to others and so on? And then make sure that what you do in your life is something that's going to help you to fulfill those goals.
All right. Color Guard, please advance the colors of our nation. I now call upon Assistant City Councilor of Fairchild in Durkee County, Blake Evan, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. You have elected your county executives to serve in your counties. And I invite at this time our 9 county executives to line up in front of the stage. Gentlemen, after I announce your name, please take one step forward. And for the audience, please hold your applause until all the names have been read. Aiden Schaff of Cameron County. Christopher Eckhart of Carpenter County. Mason Shambeau of Dodge County. Colin Argue of Doolittle County. Joseph Chandler of Durkee County. Thomas Kisnowski of Howe County. Max Bossert, Mitchell County. Tyler Webb, Sawyer County. Andrew Duncombe, Walker County. Gentlemen, you have been elected to serve as the county executive in your county. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States, the state of Wisconsin, and of Badger Boys State. That I will carry out my Badger Boys State pledge, and that I will faithfully, and to the best of my ability, perform the duties of the office of County Executive to which I have been elected. Congratulations, you may now begin your term of service. Please be seated when you receive your badge. And at this time, would all of the newly elected county sheriffs please come to the front? Gentlemen, after I announce your name, please take one step forward. And again, audience, please hold your applause until I have announced all of the names. Brennan Eady, Cameron County. Sean Stephen, Carpenter County. Blake Dockstetter, Dodge County. Solomon Demby, Doolittle County. Dalton Staller, Durkee County. Keegan Bartow, Howe County. Matt Bushell, Mitchell County. Seth Barnes, Sawyer County. And Anthony Nemec, Walker County. Gentlemen, you have been elected to serve as the sheriff of your county. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States, the state of Wisconsin, and of Badger Boys State. That I will carry out my Badger Boys State pledge, and that I will faithfully and to the best of my ability perform the duties of the office of County Sheriff, to which I have been elected. Congratulations. You may now begin your term of service. At this time, as the Dean of the Law School, it gives me great pleasure to announce those students who have successfully passed the bar exam today. If you took the bar exam today, please stand. It gives me great pleasure to announce that each and every one of you passed the bar exam today. And so I ask that you please all raise your right hand and repeat after me. I solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States, the state of Wisconsin, and of Badger Boys State. That I will carry out my Badger Boys State pledge, and that I will faithfully and to the best of my ability perform the duties of attorney. Congratulations, you may now begin your term of service. I would also like to announce the names of those 6 students who received a perfect score on their parliamentary procedure exam today. When I call your name, please stand to be recognized. Najee Purdy. Stephen Liederman. Nicholas Bartlett. Colin Weltzine. Austin Keach. And Lucas Graff. Before we continue with tonight's keynote address, we will retire the colors of our country. So with that, please rise. Please retire the colors of our country. Please be seated. This week, we talk often about the transformation each of you will make as men. And we ask that when you go back to your communities, you use the tools that you've been given as a driving force for change. But too often, we don't have an honest conversation about what it means exactly to be a man. Well, tonight, members of our staff have prepared a keynote presentation to start a conversation. A conversation about honest and meaningful manhood. Please join me in welcoming Blake Eben, Ali Khalil, Mike Kolarchik, and Austin Pleer.
Be a man. A simple phrase, one that we've all become accustomed to hearing since our early days on the schoolyard playground. But have you ever stopped for a second and thought to yourself what those 3 words actually mean? My name is Blake Eben, and today we're going to talk about what it truly means to be a man. For many, their idea of what it means to be a man has connotations that trap them within a box of what it means to be a male within our culture. Drive a truck, eat meat, play sports and have guns, Be good with tools and have no fear. These are just a few examples of what men of every age feel their role to be as a male within our society. But let me be clear, it's important to note that individually these characteristics are not bad. The problem, however, comes in when men become trapped in these ideas of what it means to be a man and are unable to see past them. They feel that their masculinity is somehow tainted if they don't align with these labels of what it means to be a man. For example, men trapped within this box will feel their masculinity to be less in caliber if they drive a Prius when compared to a man who has a lifted Silverado based solely on the vehicle that they drive. Men in this box will feel that they are less of a man if they order a salad compared to a greasy cheeseburger. Men in this box will feel they are less of a man if they cry when others are around. Men in this box are afraid to accept themselves for who they truly are. And you don't just have to take my word for it either. This past year, the leaders of a school-based club called Stand Up posed this very same question to the entire 9th grade class at Appleton North High School. The students were asked as a whole what it meant to them when they heard someone say, "Act like a man." As the students began to respond, the stand-up leaders then wrote down all of the words the students said and made a list at the front of the room. Take a look at the list they developed on what act like a man meant to them. Things such as don't be whipped, dominate, head of household, in charge, don't ask for help, no emotions except anger are all things that these students thought of when someone told them to man up. Many will say that these 3 words are the most destructive words any man will ever hear, and I'd have to agree. As a child, I was very sick. Going through a variety of operations, I felt like I visited the hospital and doctor's office more often than I visited my own elementary school. Like many of you, I excelled in the classroom, but I was unable to transfer that success onto the playground. As I recovered from a few different illnesses, my body would easily tire while I recess, which many of my classmates viewed as a sign of weakness and that I was less of a man because of it. So when the opportunity presented itself, I began to play Pop Warner football. Naturally, I was taller than most everyone else my age, so the game came quite easy to me. At first, I joined based solely in an attempt to cover these weaknesses. As the years progressed, my love for the sport began to grow, but with it came the forging of a very strong man box. I fit the stereotype. I used that sport to cover my weaknesses. And some of the men that I share this stage with today also discovered this extremely limiting man box either within themselves or amongst the circle they associate with. Let's take a moment and hear their stories.
Throughout high school and my first 3 years of college, I woke up every day and put on a mask. I put on the mask of a straight man. It's the little things in life that make you who you are, and it's the little things in life that break you. Seemingly harmless, even friendly comments like, "Hey Austin, why don't you have a girlfriend?" Or, "Hey dude, I'll be your wingman. Who are you into at this party?" "Son, I can't wait to meet the girl you marry someday." Every question and every comment threatened my disguise. Each one sharpened my acting skills. When you play a character every day, you become a pretty good actor. Even as I became well aware of why these questions and comments felt so threatening and came to terms with my identity, I couldn't quite quit putting my mask on every day. After all, the character I played was so successful in the eyes of my family and friends. I got good grades, I played football and basketball, and I was dating a girl. I was good at being the man that everyone wanted me to be, but I wasn't man enough to be myself.
As an undergraduate student, I worked with the Wisconsin Badger football team for 5 years. We had an upperclassman offensive lineman who suffered from depression. At the time, he was a redshirt junior and myself a freshman. For the most part, he kept his feelings within himself and his troubles to himself as well, not seeking the help of any of his teammates or coaches. This only furthered the damaging effects of his depression as he kept himself within the confines of his own man box. His position coach, who never strayed outside of his own very intense man box, rarely ever praised his players and constantly belittled them, even after their best performances. He carried himself without any compassion or emotional connection to his players. Due in part to his depression, my friend quit after the season, both from the football team as well as the track and field team, where he was a promising thrower. He had given up his favorite sports, which he was successful at, just because he was stuck inside of his own man box and not seeking emotional help or support. You could easily say that his position coach, who lacked any empathy or compassion, helped to drive my friend deeper and deeper into his own man box, because men don't talk about their feelings or emotional issues. Look how much that cost him.
I was in 4th grade when 9/11 happened, and it was a traumatic day for everyone. As someone born into a Muslim family that emigrated here from India, it meant a whole different kind of change for my life. The last thing any kid in 4th grade wants to do is stand out. But when your skin looks like this, your name is Ali, and your mother wears a headscarf, standing out wasn't really a choice, especially in a place like Wisconsin. Amidst the occasional terrorist jokes, I started having a very real identity crisis. I wanted nothing to do with who my parents were and the religion that they practiced. I resented them for looking different and having a weird name. I had no respect for my parents and the culture that they had raised me in, and because of that, I had no respect for myself. In middle school, that lack of self-respect turned into a complete lack of respect for those around me. I constantly talked back to my teachers. I was almost placed in the emotionally disturbed class, and in 8th grade, I was almost expelled from my school district for vandalizing my gym teacher's home. Looking back at this experience as a 24-year-old man, I know one thing: it was avoidable. Between 4th and 8th grade, I could have asked for help. I could have gone to someone at my school or gone to one of my brothers to talk about what I was going through, but I never did. Why? Because men don't ask for help, and look how far believing that got me.
The 9th grade students we spoke about earlier, who gave their responses on what it meant to them when they heard the phrase "act like a man," also responded to the question of what healthy manhood meant to them. Here's a sample list of the list they generated. Do you notice a difference? Healthy masculinity means so much more to them than what the stereotype of masculinity provides. Let's hear how these men transitioned from the man box experiences they had into the healthy lives of masculinity that they lead today.
I am a high school history teacher on the southwest side of Chicago, so you can imagine the amount of man box I see on a daily basis. This year alone, we have had to put 7 young 9th grade boys on suicide watch at the hospital because they were harming themselves. As the other men and I here have pointed out, boys are taught that asking for help is a sign of weakness, no matter how much we may need it. As a concerned teacher and man, I began working with my school's counselor to implement a small support group for these boys at our school and any other young men who needed a safe place to talk through whatever it was that they were feeling. We're trying to create a space where they can open up in a way that they have never been able to do before. And to me, that is true manhood. Among so many amazing things, being a man means recognizing your situation and asking yourself, what can I do to make this better for those around me? As a teacher, helping to create this group was my way of starting the healing process for my students. As seniors and the people that your classmates look up to, you have a responsibility to do the same for your community. Help, empower, be there for others. That's what a man does.
When I was in 4th grade, my parents got divorced, like so many others. My dad and I had always been very close, having always spent my summers or weekends together hunting or fishing. Even as a kid, it was apparent to me that the divorce was very hard on him. He had always been very close to me, but I wouldn't say that we were commonly sharing feelings or emotions. Typically, we only scratched the surface. One night after hockey practice, my dad and I were in the kitchen, and he suddenly started bawling uncontrollably. My always strong and steady father was bawling like a little kid. Ever since that night, he's been open with me about some of his deepest feelings. His leaving the constraints of the man box helped me to do the same. As I struggled from the divorce to open up emotionally, I buried most of my issues deep down and tried to keep even-keeled, which only hurt myself. Although my transition was slow and quite drawn out, I couldn't help but find that event, which is still ingrained in my memory today, to have been a major turning point, not only in our relationship, but in my own growth into adulthood. Without that, I can confidently say that I wouldn't be as willing and able to deal with the emotional stress and events as if I were still stuck within the confines of my man box, since men express and face their emotions head on, both alone and with the supporters in their life.
Over 2 years ago, I took off my mask and told my friends and family that I was gay. Not every reaction was perfect, but the vast majority of the people that I opened up to were overwhelmingly supportive. I've learned over the past few years that being a man means not only having the courage to be yourself, but to trust those around you enough, those close to you, to be vulnerable with them. Being vulnerable is perhaps the scariest and most rewarding decision a man can make. For me, doing so has allowed me to break free of the confining types that govern both what it means to be a man and to be gay. For so long, it felt like the world was asking me to pick one and act like it. But today I understand that black and white view of the world to be false. Instead, I strive to be myself each day and shatter the expectations that others have based on my gender or sexuality. For me, that means both playing football and fighting for my civil rights. It means working on being both a better son and a better boyfriend. Simply put, being a man means being my best self and helping others to be their best self as well.
Stop crying.
Stop with the tears.
Don't cry.
Pick yourself up. Stop with the emotions.
Don't be a pussy. Don't let nobody disrespect you.
Be cool and be kind of a dick.
Always keep your mouth shut.
Nobody likes a tattletale.
Bros come before hoes.
Don't let your woman run your life.
You bitch. What a fag.
Get laid. Do something.
Be a man.
Be a man.
Grow some balls.
The three most destructive words that every man receives when he's a boy is when he's told to be a man.
We've constructed an idea of masculinity in the United States that doesn't give young boys a way to feel secure in their masculinity, so we make them go prove it all the time.
Within their peer group culture, each of them is posturing based on how the other boys are posturing, and what they end up missing is what they each really want, which is just that closeness.
In good times, guys are like really close to each other, but when things get a little bit worse, you're on your own.
From middle school, I had 4 really close friends. Once I kind of went into high school, I struggle finding people I can talk to because I feel like I'm not supposed to get help.
Our kids get up every morning. They have to prepare their mask for how they're going to walk to school. A lot of our students don't know how to take the mask off. What is it you don't let people see? Almost 90% of you have pain and anger in that paper.
If you never cry, then you have all these feelings stuffed up inside of you, and then you can't get them out.
They really buy into a culture that doesn't value what we've feminized. If we're in a culture that doesn't value caring, doesn't value relationships, doesn't value empathy, you are going to have boys and girls, men and women go crazy.
I had anger issues in high school. I felt like an outcast.
I've been suspended at least once every year I was here.
We would just look for trouble and just like try to fight.
Boys are more likely to act out. They're more likely to become aggressive. Most people miss that as depression, or see it as a conduct disorder, or just a bad kid.
I felt like just giving up on life. You know, I actually had suicide thoughts in my head at 6th grade.
I felt alone for a long time, and I actually thought about killing myself.
Whether it's homicidal violence or suicidal violence, people resort to such desperate behavior only when they are feeling shamed and humiliated, or feel they would be if they didn't prove that they were real men.
If you're told from day one, don't let nobody disrespect you, and this is the way you handle it as a man, respect is linked to violence.
If I can man up, why step down from that? You feel me?
It's like instinct.
So man up. Man up. Man up. Man up. Pull some fucking balls. Act like a man. Be a man.
Be a man.
For my kids, I was going to end this hyper-masculine narrative here.
Be a man. The three most destructive words any man will ever hear. And for me, those came most often while my cleats were dug firmly into the football field. That mindset was the life I led for many years. As the seasons of football passed, I soon found myself under center as quarterback at Appleton North my freshman year. It wasn't until I had become quite hurt that season for me to realize what I had become. As a leader, I was giving vision and guidance to the team under principles that surely did not promote individual growth. My passion for the game was easily misinterpreted as anger, as that was the only emotion I understood. My inability to understand and appreciate the abilities outside of the man box that many of the men on my team possessed surely was a detriment to the overall success of our team. As leaders, it was and is our responsibility to step outside of the man box and lead a life of healthy masculinity. As leaders, we cannot continue to propagate the theories of being a man that society has placed on our shoulders. It will be on us, as leaders, as change makers, as policy developers of tomorrow, to lead this change. Individually, the characteristics and joys found within the man box are not bad, and we cannot forget that. But when you can't see past them, and you can't remove yourself from that box, that's when it's time for a change. I dare you to hold each other accountable this week and with your friends back at home on striving toward. In closing, I'd like to leave you with this.
May I be a man
whose confidence comes from the depth of my giving,
who understands that vulnerability is my greatest strength,
who creates space rather than dominates it,
who appreciates listening more than knowing,
who seeks kindness over control, who cries when the grief is too much.
A usar un arma, ahorcar e insultar.
May I not be afraid to get lost.
May I cherish touch more than performance.
And the experience more than getting there.
May I be brave enough to share my fear and shame.
And gather the other men to do the same. May I stop pretending and open the parts of me that have long been numb.
May I cherish, respect, and love my mother.
May the resonance of that love translate into loving all women and living things.
Love.
Gentlemen, stand up to this world, take a chance, and be the change maker in your communities. Thank you.
Yes, one short announcement before you are dismissed to go back to your cities and counties. I need to see a couple young men tonight, and I need to find you by your phone numbers. Whoever has and owns a cell phone who answers to 378-1540. I need to see you right away. And the other number is 715-712-4407. I need to see you right now. Thank you.
You are dismissed.